Hari Om. The first chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, in the first chapter we have seen the delusory attachment of Arjuna as a Yodha, as a warrior. Arjuna undergoing the emotional and mental confusion, especially as a Yodha, to take the right judgment. So that is where the judgment got clouded due to the emotional and mental confusion. So as a consequence, what happened? We have seen that Arjuna was reluctant to fight due to this clouding. He himself forget the moral duty, dharma. And what is happening? Basically, judgment, unable to make a right judgment, and also misidentify the emotional impulses, and feels that those emotional impulses are correct. That is where he introduces, or he brings the righteousness, the so-called, the perceived righteousness. Arjuna was saying that it is a sin to fight and it's good to get defeated. So due to the clouding of the judgment, due to the delusion, Arjuna himself lands up in a situation that he forgot to do the moral duty, the dharma, and misidentify those emotional impulses as righteousness. So that's what he was saying. How can I forget, or how can I not forget? How will I fight against my elders? How will I fight against the guru and the elders? And I cannot desire the victory or kingdom or pleasures if they mean killing those people whom I respect and love. So I cannot desire those victory, pleasures, kingdom, etc. if that path involves killing those people whom I respect and love. So ultimately what is happening? The stage of giving up to fight. Out of what? Out of delusion, out of attachment, out of grief. See, that is what we have seen. Forgets the duty of a Kshatriya. So he himself puts in a situation called as misplaced compassion. And misplaced compassion is happening due to the clouding of the judgment, the right judgment. Out of what? Out of the attachment that he created in his mind. So that is where Bhagavan Krishna starts bringing the clarity. So as a Kshatriya, you have to do the duty of a warrior. And what is the duty? Protect. So if in a war, it is not pleasant. So that is where Bhagavan brings the clarity that killing of the body is not equal to killing of the self. The self cannot be killed. So that is where the teaching starts in the second chapter. The teaching starts with what? Teaching starts with the imperishable self and the impermanence of the body. Self is imperishable, self is eternal, self cannot be killed. Whereas the body is not permanent. So, Arjuna, please start doing your duty without attachment. Perform your own duty without getting attached. And this is the starting point of awakening in Arjuna. And this is the starting point of awakening not only in Arjuna, it is also for all of us. What is the starting point of awakening? The self is eternal, the body is not permanent. So, who truly am I? This is the starting point of awakening. So that is where Bhagavan starts the advice. You are this awareness. And the nature of the self is what? That awareness. But we tend to misidentify ourselves as a Vyakti, as a person, giving importance only to the body, only to the mind, only to the objects. And how the egocentric idea comes in human beings? It is due to the conditioning. Conditioning of our own body, mind, intellect, senses. That is where the ego starts. And the problem with Arjuna is also same. Is there, delusory attachment which is conditioned by his own body, mind, intellect, senses. And this delusory attachment led to the clouding. When I say clouding, the over attachment to the relationships, and as a consequence of that, a virtual compassion rose in Arjuna and put Arjuna into a state of helplessness. So the teaching, the real Bhagavad Gita teaching starts from the 2:11, the verse 11 onwards in the Sankhya Yoga, in the second chapter. We will just quickly do a recap of 11 to 17 before we get into the subsequent verses for today. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Ashochan Anvashocastvam Prajna Vadamscha Bhashase Gadasu Nagadam Sumscha Nanushochandi Pandita. So here the Pandita, the quality of a Pandita, the quality of a wise. Before we try to understand that this verse, we discussed that the ego coming out of the identification with body, mind, intellect, senses, and with the objects. So the ego is what? Ego is the phenomena of the self getting reflected in the body, mind, intellect, sense, and the inner traits. In another way, we can say the self is not really known, and we ourselves identify with the body, mind, intellect, senses, and the inner traits. And ego, if you see, ego comes from where? Ego comes from these elements. body, mind, intellect, sense, intellect, etc. And including our own body, it is a part of the Prakriti. And it comes out of the self. It comes out of the inner self, meaning it comes from the world, because everything, including body, mind, intellect, senses, etc., are a part of the Prakriti, and you are the Purusha. That is what Advaitam says. So ego is what? Ego is the perception coming out of the world. Ego is the perception coming out of the objects in the world. Ego is the perception coming out from the feelings. Ego is the perception coming out from the ideas. Ego is the perception that is coming out of the identification that we create with body, mind, intellect, sense, objects, ideas, feelings, inner traits, etc. And we claim that that is our personality. So what is happening is basically we are misapprehending our own reality with ego. And this, in Vedantic term, we can say misapprehension of the reality is called as vikshepa. Misapprehension. And non-apprehension of reality, not knowing that self, not knowing the real nature, that is called as avarana. See, avaranam meaning what? Avaranam is hiding the truth, or we can say the power of concealment, or we can say it is non-apprehension, meaning mind is failing to recognize the true nature. Mind plays always at the realm of ego. Avarana is basically what? Avarana hides the truth. Avarana is due to the power of concealment. Avarana is called as non-apprehension, where mind fails to recognize the self. And what is vikshepa? Vikshepa is basically creating the false. Creating the false meaning what? Power of projecting as something else, or power of having distracted, or power of getting distracted. So one thing is basically what? Mind fails to recognize, and second is what? Mind projects those illusions, such as identifying with body, mind, intellect, senses, etc., as the self. One is basically not knowingness and wrongly knowing. These are the two issues. If you see the analogy of a rope and a snake. See, maybe let's take this example. In a poorly lit area, there is a rope, and this rope is lying on the ground. One aspect or one dimension is you don't see the rope clearly. Okay, not seeing is basically what? The truth is hidden. You don't see the rope clearly, and you see that rope, and now you are imagining it as a snake, and you're getting afraid. And this is vikshepa. First is basically you don't see the rope. The truth is hidden. There is a rope, right? That is the truth. And you don't see that rope. And second is what? You see the rope and you imagine it as a snake, and you felt afraid. So this is vikshepa. This is called as projecting in a false way. The false is projected here, right? It is really a rope. It is not a snake. So similarly, the self is ever present. Our own self is always there. And the first issue is basically what? Avidya, the ignorance. Ignorance is basically covering it. And similar to the identification of the rope as a snake, here the mind imagines the world of ego that includes everything: body, mind, intellect, sense, duality, joy, sorrow, everything. The mind imagines the world of duality, the world of ego, as the real self. This is called as a vikshepa. Clear? So the avarana is basically what? Avarana is basically one not knowing the own worth. One not knowing the own worth as the true self. Let's take a practical example here. You are seeing another person, and you don't know the true feeling of that person at that point of time. For example, always used to smile at me. Today did not smile. Probably he did not have, the other person would not have noticed, or the other person would be undergoing some confusion or emotional issue. And now you are saying he must be ignoring me. This is vikshepa. I did something wrong. The reality may be totally different. So here our mind is fabricating some stories. Let us further simplify with a practical example. Now, we all have accounts in social media, and you can see a lot of posts that people usually put curated highlights. Now even the AI tools will also help, including creating a new picture, new photograph, whatever background you need. And by looking at somebody's curated post or highlights, and you are forgetting that people put this kind of curated post and they highlight a lot of things without knowing the reality. This is avarana. And vikshepa is basically what? Your mind now declares that everybody else is enjoying their vacations, everybody else is happy in life, everybody else is successful in life, everybody else is fulfilled in life except me. By looking at somebody's post. That is what, right? The mind projects and declares that everyone else around me is happy, successful, delightful, fulfilled in their life. They do have, maybe further mind will frame that they have got enough time and money to go to costly destinations. They are enjoying vacations. This is the kind of influence or effect that we have in our life. So if Arjuna and Krishna, if they both are having the conversation at this point of time, Arjuna would be saying, "Hey Krishna, hi Krishna, I don't think I can fight this battle." And Krishna looking at Arjuna and his smartphone, Bhagavan Krishna would have told, "Hey bro, it is just your avarana and vikshepa acting up again and again." So take a deep breath. Mute your WhatsApp groups, mute your notifications. Stop scrolling and trolling. So you remember that, you are not this body, you are not the doer. Oh, go and act. Get up, go fight. So only difference is basically the distractions in Arjuna at that point of time versus the distractions that we are having in our daily life. I mean, if you see, the sum of distractions are much more these days. Because distractions can come from anywhere. So these issues, avarana and vikshepa, it's quite evident in our lives also. So you take assumed kind of personalities in life. And those assumed personalities ultimately will, hardwire in such a way that I am this, I am that, and I am, a limited being. That is where Bhagavan says in the 14th verse, Matra sparshastu kaundeya chidoshna sugha dukkada agama painu nityattam tidikshasya bharata. These things will come, these kind of distractions will come. So please endure these distractions. When you say distraction, it need not be only distraction. These ups and downs can come every time. So please endure these things like a champ, like a champion. Because they are what? They are agama, paino, anitya. These are temporary. So please endure them. Patiently deal with them with a brave mindset. Titiksha. Tidikshasya bharata. So don't allow those monetary, don't allow those, the temporary ups and downs to control your inner peace and stability. Right? Life, if you see in the modern world, we do have different challenges. Right? One big challenge is basically phone's battery. Phone's battery and Wi-Fi, these are the two bigger challenges. Connectivity and charge, connectivity and battery. So life is sometimes like 100% battery, sometimes 50% battery, sometimes it will go to 1% also. So what should we do? We should cleverly charge it. Correct? Or put it in aeroplane mode or battery saver. Or be conscious that, because once it goes down 20%, be conscious that how to use, how to manage it. Put it in battery saver or aeroplane. So you don't need to get panic. These ups and downs will come, pleasant and unpleasant will come. Just respond and chill. Then Bhagavan said, Yam hina vyadayantyede purisham purisharshabha samadukha sukham dhiram so amrudatvaya kalpade. Who is the real hero, Arjuna? Who is not tormented, who is not disturbed by these swings. And to whom this pleasure and pain are the same. It doesn't mean that for a jnani, pleasure is at a different dimension. Not like that. Or a pain is at a different dimension. This pleasure and pain are same, meaning that person will deal this with a balanced mindset. So such a person is called as a jnani, such a person is called as a pandita, such a person will be wise and steady, not shaken by the dualities, joy and sorrow and all those things. So a true yogi treats like both joy and sorrow in a balanced way. Right? Like, in the modern world, this is the world of consistent mobile notification. Right? Mobile notification is something, every few seconds some or other notification will pop up. And if you really get panicked with all those notifications, oh, what is happening? What is this notification? Every 5-10 minutes. And if you react to those notifications, so what we should do? Let those notifications come. Let it land there. Whenever we get time, just swipe it calmly. Don't feel high or get crashed. Because these are some of the tips that we need. How will you deal with mobile notifications? Jokes apart, how one should deal with these dualities in life. Don't feel high, don't feel low, because these ups and downs are prone to happen. So now again Bhagavan says, Nasado vidyade bhavo na bhavo vidyade sada ubhayor abhidrishtonda tonayo tattvadarshini. What is real, what is unreal? Unreal meaning the temporary things, they don't have a lasting existence. Whereas the real is what? The real is the self. Never ceases to be. So the wise will always understand that the difference between Sat and Asat. The real self never ceases to be, whereas the temporary things, including our own body, mind, intellect, senses, the world that we live, there is no lasting existence. So wise understands this difference between what? Between the eternal, that will always last, versus what will not last. What is temporary and what is permanent. What is temporary? Temporary is our social media followers, our job, our title, our body, our age, our possessions. These all are temporary. What is permanent? Permanent is the constant awareness that we have, the consciousness, the one who sees these changes happening in us. And that is permanent, that is eternal. So whenever there is less battery, whenever there is no connectivity, whenever the network congestion happens, or whenever we are stuck in traffic, or whenever we are, having frustrations in our work, affirm this. I am not this job, I am not this car, I am not this traffic, I am not this iPhone. No offense, I should not use such brand names also. I am not this, I am not the Wi-Fi speed. They all are temporary. Even the enjoyment most of the people gets out of the weekend hangout, that itself is a motivation for many, right? Because 5 days of boring work and I really need freedom. So the weekend hangout. So as an effect of that weekend hangout, we cannot go anywhere in this city on a Saturday, Sunday. Otherwise also it's very tough to go on a weekday due to the commutation. So you are not this weekend hangout. You are not the one who should derive motivation out of the we can hang out. You are not the, any of those things which frustrates in our life. So then what is the affirmation we have to make? You are this real self. I am this real self. And this self doesn't need any upgrades. Right? Because the body needs some upgrades, mind needs upgrades, some sort of relief for the stress, or a relief in a way of thinking, or getting a change in life, etc. These all are applicable for all the objects, but the real self doesn't need any sort of upgrades, doesn't need any sort of motivation. Otherwise also the self is the embodiment of perfection. What is needed is it just needs that realization. Right? So the verses 214 to 216 basically says, pleasure and pain are temporary. Don't react impulsively. Stay calm in joy and sorrow, because what is needed is modesty, equanimity, and that is the true strength. And now with this verse, nasado vidyate bhava na abhava vidyate sada ubhayor abhi drishtu andatvaneyoho tattvadarshiki. So know what is real, what is unreal. Shift your focus from the external to eternal. It doesn't mean that you need to run away from the life. Do the transactions. Respect those. Whatever is supposed to happen through you, don't worry. But the real focus should not be on the external thing. The real focus should be on the eternal, the true self. So walk straight to the capital I. Don't get stuck at the small I, the ego. Now 17th verse says, Nabhinashi tu tadvidhi yena sarvamidam tadam vinasham avyayasyasya nakaschit kardum arhati. The indestructibility of the non-dual. See, this non-dual, this self is eternal. It pervades everywhere. And we all are a part of that. Meaning it is only one, non-dual. Egam advadiyam. So then, how can you say that everybody is same? Everybody is not same from the standpoint of the bodies. Everybody will be different from the standpoint of the bodies. But everybody is same from the standpoint of the consciousness, because the consciousness is same, it is only one, it is pervading everywhere. It cannot be two or three consciousness. It cannot be that. The plurality exists from the part or from the standpoint of the bodies. So the consciousness is same. It is ever pervading. It is avinashi. Avinashi tu tadvidhi. The indestructible. Avinashi. Tad is what? Tad is what? That is sat. That is not subject to destruction because it is indestructible. No abhavam. Na sado vidyade bhavo. Na abhavo. Sat. There is no question of sat not existing. It is always there. There is no abhavam. There is no destruction. Whereas asat. Asat will have no sat. Sat cannot change. Sat cannot be destroyed. And this sat has no sambandha. Sambandha meaning there is no need of asat to exist, or there is no need of asat for sat to exist. And vinasham avyayasyasya na kaschit kardum arhadi. So no one has got the power to destroy the indestructible reality behind the universe. We cannot touch. We cannot touch this indestructible universal reality or universal law that is behind the universe. And we all are part of that. We all are just a microcosm in that universe. Maybe another analogy we can bring here is basically the pot and the clay. So what is a pot? Pot is a name. Pot is a form. Pot is made of what? Pot is made of clay. So if we look at a pot we can say it is a name, it is a form, it is a namam. And what is clay? Clay is the reality. So let us give a pot as A and clay as B, that is real. So pot as A and clay as B. Can we say pot is clay? So we can say A is equal to B. Or we can we say A is B, not A is equal to B. A is B. Pot is clay. Because the reality of the pot is what? It is clay. But can we say that the clay is the pot? For clay to exist, there is no need of a pot. Whereas for the pot to exist, there is a necessity to have a clay. Similarly, for the Sat, there need not be Asat for Sat to exist. But otherwise also Sat is always there. Clay is always there. Pot will get distracted. Pot can get damaged. The reality of pot is clay. Whereas the reality of clay is not pot. So the self, the true nature of all of us is what? That is the one which pervades the entire universe, and that is Avinashi, that is imperishable. And nobody can destroy this eternal essence also. Maybe another analogy if we bring here, the analogy of electricity. Our appliances or gadgets are connected or using electricity. All devices use electricity. Assume that the mixer grinder got damaged. Is the electricity got harmed? Is the electricity gets stopped when a device breaks? Or if the electricity is affected when a device breaks? Or assume the light bulb got fused. Will the electricity gets harmed? So similarly, the self is always evident, is always present, and it is unaffected when the body perishes. To realize that self, the manifestation so called as body is absent, but that self is always there. That is what this verse says. Avinashitu tadviddi yena sarvamidam tadam vinasham avyayasya nagaschit kartumarati. Verse number 18. Andavanda ime deha nityasyokta sharirina anashino prameyasya tasmad udhyasva bharata. Andavanda ime deha nityasya ukta sharirina anashina aprameyasya tasmad yudhyasva bharata. So these the physical body is asat, the physical body is mithya. So sharira. These bodies are perishable. but the indwelling self is eternal, is aprameyasya. Okay, it is incomprehensible and anashina. So anashina meaning of the indestructible. So when the bodies will perish, but the indweller is eternal, and that indweller is not comprehensible, aprameyam, and the indweller is indestructible. So Arjuna tasmad yudhyasva bharata. You please get up and fulfill your duty. You fulfill your duty by fighting. Anashina, indestructible. Aprameya meaning incomprehensible or immeasurable. Aprameyo Rishikesha Padmanabho Amarapra in the Sahasranam. That cannot be measured, that cannot be comprehensible. Now, Andavanda ime deha, these bodies are having what property? These bodies are destined to end, because any manifestation that is coming will go back to Prakriti. And these modifications are happening. Body changes every moment. Can we stop those changes in the body? Can we stop the growth of the body? Can we stop the decay of the body? Can we stop the digestion process by putting a switch? Or can we do something beyond the body is able to do? And the body is the part of the nature, is part of the Prakriti. Body is having the temporariness attribute, whereas the self is eternal. It doesn't mean that you need to ignore the body. Please don't think like that. Because we have to take care of the body, upgrade the body. When I say upgrade the body, do whatever is needed for the body to be healthy. But please know who is using that body. The indweller is the owner of the body. The indweller in Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavan Sarvabhudanam Adhyaksho Avasthidogo. Or in 13th chapter we can see Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga. Kshetrajna, right? Kshetram is the body. Who is the real owner of the Kshetram? The Kshetrajna. So please understand the Kshetram in this aspect, meaning the indweller of the body is the true self and is my true nature. So take care of the body, upgrade the body, but know who is using the body. Concentrate on your inner self. It doesn't mean that don't take care of the body, but the real owner of the body is the inner self, and that is eternal, which is immortal. So in another way, you need to fight the war that is coming from the perishable things. For example, body is perishable, mind is perishable, intellect is perishable, sense is perishable. So don't fear to fight the challenges coming from these Prakriti, body, mind, intellect, senses. What is the fight meaning here? Fight is all about destroy the attachment that we have towards this. When I say destroy the attachment, basically position yourself from the kshetram to kshetrajnan. Because body is the temple of the God. Kshetram meaning what? Temple meaning what? Temple is the place where God is residing, right? Consciousness. So this body is also a temple. This is the outer case. Body is the outer case. But who is the real owner? Who is staying in the body? The God, the consciousness. Body is the temple of the God. And don't put the limitations of the body, because this Prakriti, the objects of the Prakriti, including body, mind, intellect, senses, etc., they do have limitations. So you don't put the limitations of those things on the self. So how practically we should live? Ensure that the body is taken care, keep the body clean, healthy, beautiful, as much as we can. So sthula, right? Whatever possible way, ensure that you take care of the sthulam and the sukshma shariram also. That includes the mind, includes the the thinking that we have. Cultivate good habits, cultivate good thoughts, cultivate good attributes, cultivate all good traits. And for whom? For the kshetrajna. Cultivate good things in body, mind, intellect, sense, etc. And for whom? For the kshetrajna. And why we need to cultivate? Because with this body, with this Janma, realize the kshetrajna. So that is where taking good care of the sthula sukshma shariram is very important. For what? To realize the kshetrajna, to realize the self. Cultivate good habits, cultivate good thoughts, cultivate good attributes. Verse number 19. Ya enam veti hantaram yaschainam manyate hadam ubhau tau na vijanito nayam hanti na hanyate. So the Ātma does not kill, nor is it killed. The one who thinks this self to be the killer and the one who thinks of the self getting killed, both do not know the reality. Meaning what? The self doesn't kill, nor is it killed. So here Bhagavan Krishna is trying to bring a clarity in Arjuna that you need to dismantle the doership and the victimhood. So let us take a practical example. You are watching a movie. So when you watch a movie, are you a part of the action on the screen? You are independently watching it. You are the witness. Or another modern example, you are playing games and your avatar might get killed, especially in car racing and all. You can see a lot of setbacks when you do the racing. And while we play games, the avatar might get killed. But who are you? You are the player. You are the player who is sitting on a nice sofa. And you are fine, right? Your avatar got killed, avatar has undergone some problem. Similarly, our own self is like a gamer here, untouched by what happens to the character. There is a very closer verse in Kadopanishad. Handa chen manyate handum hadas chet manye te hadam ubhau tau na vijanito nayam handi na hanyate. Atma is what? Atma is pure. In Vedantic term, we can say Atma is Nitya, Shuddha, Buddha, Mukta, Swabhava. So self is neither the doer nor the enjoyer. Self is not the doer, neither doer nor the enjoyer. And the self is never born, nor does it die. That we have seen in this Najayade. Okay, in the next verse we can see that. Yeah. Najayade Mriyadeva. Okay, let's see the verse number 20. Najayade Mriyadeva Katachit Nayam Bhutva Bhavida Vanabhuya Ajo Nitya Shashvadoyam Purano Nahanyade Hanyamane Sharire. So Najayade Mriyadeva Katachit. So the Atma is not born nor does it die. The self is never born nor does it ever die. It is Ajam Nityam Shashvat. So it is unborn, it is eternal, it is everlasting, it is always fresh. Purana. Purana doesn't mean it's old or something. Here Purana means new, it is fresh. So self is unborn, self is fresh, self is eternal, self is everlasting, self will not die, self is not born. Nahanyade hanyamane sharire. Even the body is destroyed, the self is not killed. You are never born and you will never die. So what dies is the body, the outside of you. That's what we say, no? My body. No one says I body. So you are not the body. You are not this temporary one. You are what you are. Ajam, Nityam, Shashwadam, Puranam. You are the timeless reality. You are the timeless reality. You are not the body. What if you delete a file from your laptop? Assume that it is a cloud space. These days, no one saves in your local disk. Everybody works on the cloud space. You may delete something from the laptop, but the data is safe in the cloud. You will be able to retrieve it, you will be able to get backups, you will be able to get the versions. Similarly, the body is just an outer casing, it is a shell and it will go. But the self is, the real you is not affected or killed. Age of the body is not the age of the self. That is where Ajam, Nityam, Shashwadam. So the body undergoes the Shad Vigaram, the Bhava Vigaram, the modifications, right? The body undergoes these changes. For example, Asti, Jayade, Vardhade, Vibranamade, Apakshiyade, Vinashyate. Body comes or body takes birth. Body starts existing in a form. Body starts growing. Body starts modifying. Body starts declining. And body will die. This sixfold modifications happen for a body. But body, you are not the body. Deham is not you. You are the Satyam. Deham is not Satyam. You are the Satyam. You are the Atma. You are the Satyavastu. So from a false identification that we create in life to the right identification. That is what this verse is. verse number 21, verse number, yes. Veda vinashinam nityam ya enam ajam avyayam kadam sapurusha partha kham khadayadi hantikam. Veda vinashinam. Veda meaning here no. Please know that the self is never destroyed. And there is also then there cannot be an imposition of the doership for Atma. No kartrutvam for the Atma. No bhoktrutvam for the Atma. Meaning enjoyership or doership you cannot impose on the Atma. Because these actions belong to what? Actions belong to the body. Actions don't belong to the real you. So then question will come, if the actions doesn't belong to you, then why should I do the action? Don't do that. It is not to say stop acting. It is all saying that you act with wisdom, with this knowledge. Know that our essence is beyond all doing and being done. Our essence is beyond this, but due to the body or due to the prarabdham, due to the actions which are destined to happen, you work on acting, but you work with wisdom also. Know that whatever the body is doing or executing the karma, the essence beyond all doing or being or whatever enjoyership, doership, etc., the essence beyond all is not having any sort of impositions happening with the body. So that's where this is not to create any passivity or lethargy. It is all about bringing a clarity here. It is all about acting with clarity. And also, Shastram says that you don't create a confusion in your identity, because you can possess different identity in this world. So don't create that sort of an identity confusion. You do all those things, but act with the wisdom about who truly are you. And that essence is beyond all kartrutvam, bhoktrutvam, mamagaram, etc. So that is where, as a human being, don't get trapped in the blame, in the regret, in the fear, in the pride, in loss, etc. Don't get trapped in all those things. You just act without the burden of ego. This is the biggest message, one of the biggest messages that Srimad Bhagavad Gita is giving to us. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyati Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyati. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.